Blue Jays and Red Sox are prepared to play the rubber match of this 3-game series. The Blue Jays lost a heartbreaker on Monday night, but stormed back to win it 11-8 last night, and the offense really carried the night. Tonight they're going to need a little better pitching effort, and R.A. Dickey would love to rebound from a less than average start last time out.
Well, if history is any measurement, I think R.A. Dickey should be just fine. The last 3 starts here at Fenway, outstanding. 2-1 with an ERA under 3, just a couple of home runs here, and that's saying something in this ballpark. Last season in September, watch this ball dancing away. This was the knuckleball that we have come to know from R.A. Dickey. He got the calls that afternoon. He was taking a little something off that knuckleball, floating it in there, and when the Red Sox were sitting on it, he was able to throw the heater by him. An outstanding game for R.A. Dickey, and the Blue Jays are hoping for more of the same here tonight.
Yeah, Blue Jays, just like the Red Sox, need some consistency from their starting rotation, and R.A. Dickey's a veteran of this staff. He'd like to be the guy that can sort things out for them, give them a good lengthy start tonight, and take some of the pressure off that bullpen. Take a look at the schedule ahead as the Blue Jays are in the midst of a 10-game road trip. You see what they have done here in Boston. 1-1 in Boston. They're finishing up tonight. Then we go into Cleveland to play a 4-game series before the Yankees come to Rogers Center for the first time. 3-game series. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Thursday's off, and then these same Red Sox will come north of the border for the first time this season. So a lot of tough games coming up for the Blue Jays. But you know what? You play in the AL East, they're all tough games. Well, John Gibbons pleased with the offense last night. They scored 11 runs on 17 hits and hit a couple of home runs. They hope to see the same type of approach tonight. Top of the order, Devin Travis, Josh Donaldson, and Jose Bautista. And notice the numbers against tonight's starter. Rick Porcello starts for the Red Sox, and Bautista has worn him out. 8-for-17 with 3 RBIs, and then right behind him, his partner in the 4-hole. He has the same type of numbers against Rick Porcello. These two have hit .469 against Porcello for their career, looking to do some more damage here tonight.
Should be fun with those two swinging the bats like they did in last night's ball game. Rick Porcello set career best in wins last season with 15 ERA. Innings pitched, went over 200 for the first time in his career. That was his final season with Detroit. He was acquired from the Tigers for Yoenis Cespedes and hasn't really gotten it into gear just yet. You see the numbers 1 and 2 with a .648 earned run average. He's given up at least 4 runs in each of his last 3 outings. He's 8 career games, including 7 starts versus the Blue Jays. His record is a losing record at 2-5, and his ERA is just under 5. So maybe those numbers will pan out over the course of the season as a Boston Red Sox.
Defensively in the outfield, it is the same outfield lineup we have seen throughout this series. Ramirez, Betts, and Brock Holt in right. On the infield, Pablo Sandoval and the youngsters Xander Bogaerts at shortstop. Pedroia up the middle, 4-time Gold Glover. Mike Napoli starts for the first time in this series, and Ryan Hannigan back behind the plate again.
Napoli has been dealing with a little bit of a strep throat problem that was highly contagious, so they sent him home yesterday. He was here Monday for a little bit. They sent him home yesterday. He wasn't here at all. Healthy enough to be back in the lineup.
Porcello jumps ahead of Devin Travis. Porcello's 26 years old. He's got almost 1,100 innings of experience. He was originally drafted by the Tigers in the first round. And he is a good-looking young pitcher. Travis pops it back out of play.
Well, he's got that great sinker. It really hasn't been sinking just yet this season for Porcello, the early part of it, but he's got a great sinker. When he's on and when he's keeping it down, you'll get a lot of ground balls.
John Farrell, the pitching coach, Juan Nieves in the Red Sox dugout. They like Porcello so much they extended his contract for 4 years. 2016 through 2019 at the tune of $82 million. That's big iron, as Dennis Eckersley would say.
That's some serious iron from the Eck.
2-2. Inside, it's a full count.
But you know, he's a guy that you can count on. 6 seasons now already in the big leagues, and he's made 25 starts in each one of them. And he's under 26 years old.
Yeah, it's a beautiful combination. Josh Donaldson will be next. Ball 4 to Devin Travis. The Blue Jays have put up crooked numbers all throughout this month. They've scored 10 or more runs 5 times in April. That is the most in the major leagues, and that ties their franchise high. Josh Donaldson's got a lot to do with those numbers. Had a big night again last night. Was on base 4 times. Had 3 hits, including a home run in the 9th.
It's third time in their career that the Blue Jays have scored 10 runs 5 or more times in the month of April. Still got 2 games to go.
Stealing bases at Fenway is not such a good deal. You can see Donaldson, we mentioned his 3-hit game last night. He has 10 multi-hit games. That's tied with Altuve and Fielder for the most in the American League. Donaldson fouled it off, and Hannigan didn't like something about that last pitch. He may be telling him, let's focus on these hitters in this first inning. Don't worry about Travis at first base. You have more problems at home than you do at first.
Yeah, Devin's not really a threat to steal. He's 1 for 1 this year in stolen bases, and I thought that was a problem last night with Clay Buchholz. Spending a little bit too much time worrying about the base runners instead of making good pitches. And he was gone in the 3rd inning.
Donaldson is 0 for 8 against Porcello. That inside sinker ties him up. 0-2. Porcello, of course, pitched with the Tigers. Donaldson with the A's matched up against the Tigers in the postseason a couple of different times. The A's had high expectations for advancing beyond the Tigers, but Justin Verlander was in there for game 5 all the time.
Happened a couple of times, didn't it?
0-2 to Donaldson. Drives this ball to right. It's always touch and go down there with that pesky pole. It's not that far away. And that one's blown into the seats. How do you like Donaldson's approach since he has put a Blue Jays uniform on? It seems as though he's changed the way he thinks at the plate.
You know, I've always loved his approach, the way he goes about his business up there at the plate. When he was with Oakland, I saw him more as a pull guy, a guy who liked to get the barrel out and try and drive the ball out of the ballpark in left field. But since he's come to the Blue Jays, he has used the whole field.
Boy, Devin Travis slipped, and he was lucky to get back. He lost the traction as he was trying to get back to first base, and he barely extends his hand in front. You see how he slipped. That was close.
He got those fingernails in right before Mike Napoli applied the tag. They put so much water on the field here before the ball game. And Devin felt the effects of that as he tried to get back first. He's got a good aggressive lead at first base.
Well, it's close over there. He's making it interesting. Porcello certainly distracted by Travis.
Going to have to clean out his spikes just a little bit. He's trying to get the mud out of his spikes because it's so clumpy down there and wet. Look at his shoes already here in the first inning. You're going to have to get a tongue depressor out there to clean those shoes out.
I don't know if Donaldson asked the umpire to change the ball or not. He asked to look at the baseball. They threw it in. Home plate umpire checked it. Adrian Johnson said it's okay. So Porcello has the same baseball. 0-2 to Donaldson. Nobody out. Waves that breaking ball and strikes out. 1 down. Well, here's the tough part of the lineup for Rick Porcello. Jose Bautista and Edwin kind of shown 3-4 in the Blue Jays lineup. They've put up some huge numbers against Porcello in the past.
Talked about this in the opening. These two dynamic duo here in this ballpark. I think they're very comfortable here. They aren't intimidated by that wall in left field. One thing that they have to do, they don't have to overswing to get it out here. I think they can have controlled swings. They're under control. They're not overswinging. And I think that's why they have a lot of success here at Fenway Park.
Well, Bautista, you could see where that first pitch was up and in, and the Red Sox have been really pounding him away. So he was trying to protect that outside and had to bail out in a hurry. Ball on the strike. Drops the breaking ball in there.
They have been pounding, and I mean pounding, these right-handed batters of the Toronto Blue Jays away this whole road trip. Tampa did it. Now we have seen Boston do it.
Well, everybody has all of the video. They watch every single at bat. And they'll take Porcello's innings with the Tigers against the Blue Jays, look at all of those at bats, try to come up with a game plan and see if they can't do something to neutralize those numbers that these two have had against Porcello.
To his credit, Jose's credit, he's starting to hit the ball a little bit better to right field. We saw that in last night's ball game where he got the big single in the right field in the third inning. Not happy with that high strike.
1-2. Going away this time. Good breaking ball away, and Bautista strikes out. Back-to-back strikeouts for Porcello.
Pretty good breaking ball. He's got a good sinker. That's why he gets a lot of ground ball out. When you start spinning that thing up there and putting it in a good spot like that, Jose a little bit out in front on that breaking ball. Not happy. I don't think he was happy with that high strike that was called. Put him in a hole.
That was a 1-1 pitch and made it 1-2. Encarnacion. The appeal down the first, and it's denied.
He's talked about that, hasn't he, Jose, about the 1-1 pitch. It's such a big pitch for the defensive team and for the offensive team.
Yeah, it's a matter of about 80 points on a batting average across baseball. The difference between a 2-1 count for a hitter and a 1-2 count. Encarnacion. Edwin pops it up. Back behind home. Hannigan back by the screen, but it's on the screen out of play. Boy, I love when Encarnacion does that. He takes that bat and he smells it. And of course, that was the great moment here in '99 at the All-Star game when Ted Williams was sitting in the middle of the diamond in a golf cart talking with Mark McGuire and Tony Gwynn. And he said, "Did you ever smell burnt wood?" Meaning that he just missed that ball, and that friction on the bat with the baseball would create that burning wood smell.
A lot of people would say, what are you talking about? But if you've played the game and you know, you see Edwin do that a lot, especially when he fouls a ball straight back.
The pitchers throughout this trip have been pitching Encarnacion away. And when they get that call, it really compounds the situation. He's just 3 for his last 25. Porcello strikes out the side. A leadoff walk to Devin Travis. Then he strikes out Donaldson, Bautista, Encarnacion. Last night, Clay Buchholz went just 2 2/3. He took him 62 pitches, so he needs a longer effort from Porcello tonight. Take a look at the Red Sox lineup. Top of the order, Mookie Betts has had quite a series. He has really set the tone for the Red Sox in this series. He's 5 for 9 and scored 4 runs. He drove in the game winner here on Monday night. Mike Napoli back in the lineup after not playing in the first 2 games. He's 6 for 18 against R.A. Dickey with a pair of doubles.
Pretty good numbers right there from Dickey. R.A. Dickey needs a bounce-back game. R.A. himself says, I've thrown pretty fair in 3 of my starts, and I've had 1 clunker. This will be a good place for him to start to get on track. He was 4-0 in 5 starts versus the Red Sox last season.
Here, a first pitch fastball. That'll cross up Mookie Betts. Last time out, he lasted just 4 2/3. It's the first time in 34 starts that Dickey failed to go 5 innings.
That's a pretty reliable streak right there. 33 consecutive starts with at least 5 innings. That was snapped in his last start. Just 4 2/3 versus the Rays.
On the ground, Donaldson scoops it, spins around, and fires to throw out Mookie Betts. 1 down. Let's take a look at the rest of the defense behind R.A. Dickey. Dalton Pompey is back in left field. He missed yesterday's game. Kevin Pillar in center. Michael Saunders in right. Donaldson and Goins on the left side. Travis and Encarnacion on the right side. And the knuckleball specialist Josh Tolley behind the plate for R.A. Dickey.
Good to see Dalton Pompey back in the lineup. He made a great catch here on Monday, saving a bunch of runs off the bat of Hanley Ramirez. And he had a little snapping action in his neck when he hit the ground, a whiplash type of action. So a little bit too sore to play in yesterday's game. Good to see him back out there tonight.
That was in the 8th inning of the opener, and he saved a couple of runs with that fine effort. Pedroia fouls it back. Dustin Pedroia, he's 185 against R.A. Dickey. He's 5 for 27. He's off to a good start to his season. 10 ribbies in 20 games. He got jammed. His little soft liner. It's in foul territory. Donaldson makes the grab. 2 quick outs.
I think he broke his bat on that one. Dickey got that knuckleball moving tonight. At least for the first 2 batters, that thing really darted in on the hands of Pedroia.
Well, Dickey has been baffled by the lack of command, and you can see this pitch really darts inside and ties up Pedroia. This is David Ortiz, number 3 hitter. Ortiz has a couple of home runs against Dickey. He just slaps that one through the infield into center field. A 2-out single for Ortiz.
Well, the knuckleball is such an important pitch, obviously, for R.A. Dickey. And over the last 4 seasons, you can see the strike percentage has been going down for him. From the great season he had in 2012, 68% down to 57 here. And that, I think, speaks to what you were saying earlier about he's just having trouble finding it, the release point, and getting it in the strike zone. He threw the knuckleball a little bit harder last year, so maybe he was throwing it through the break.
Hanley Ramirez, he's in the cleanup spot. Off to a great start his first year here with the Red Sox. Hit a home run right around pesky pole down in right last night in the 8th inning, a 2-run home run. That was his 200th career homer. Boy, that's a wicked knuckleball.
Hard with good movement. You want those wild swingers up there, I think, when you've got that type of knuckleball. Those wild swingers, they see the ball, they start their swing, and it gets a little bit long. And that's to R.A. Dickey's benefit.
Josh Tolley, of course, was Dickey's catcher with the Mets in 2012 when Dickey won the National League Cy Young Award. That season, they used a few more fastballs, and they used it especially with 2 strikes. Seemed to be a good combination. Everybody looking for that knuckleball with 2 strikes, and he crossed up a lot of hitters. Ramirez taps it foul at home plate.
I think he's going to love hitting in this ballpark for the whole season. He has gotten off to a great start. 20 RBIs already and 9 home runs.
You know what's odd about his start? He hasn't hit a double or a triple. Just 9 extra base hits, all homers. He's tied with Nelson Cruz for the major league lead in home runs. 2-2 pitch, and Ramirez strikes out. Good start for R.A. Dickey in this ballgame. He gives up a 2-out single, but nothing more. It's scoreless after 1 at Fenway.
Presented by the 2015 Honda CR-V, Motor Trend's 2015 Sport Utility of the Year.
Fenway Park, a lot of history here in this beautiful old ballpark. That's a statue of Ted Williams outside of Fenway Park. The splendid Splinter enjoyed a Hall of Fame career right here playing left field for the Red Sox. Maybe the best hitter in the history of the game.
Didn't he always want to be known as the greatest hitter of all time?
He was pretty good.
He was pretty good.
521 home runs.
And he missed how
5
many?
seasons.
5 seasons to the war. Wow.
This is Kevin Pillar. He had a big night last night. He did a lot of things that helped the Blue Jays win that ball game. He fouls that one right off his foot. That's a bowling ball sinker that Porcello will throw.
It's so hard to lay off of that ball. You see it coming in and you start your swing, and then you recognize that that ball is really starting to sink down and in. You can't stop your swing. You end up doing just what Kevin did, right off the foot or right off the shin. Right there. Wow.
Well, that hit off the shin, and that hurts. Did you ever wear a shin guard when you played?
Yeah. After a while, I hit so many balls off my shin like that, I started getting bruises and bumps all over it. So I said, you know what, forget it. When I'm facing a pitcher like this, like Porcello, I'm wearing it. And to his credit, Porcello, he goes right back in there.
Of course. Yeah, that's pain is fresh in the hitter's mind. Go right back in there. Maybe he won't swing at it.
It's the last thing you want to do, right?
A couple of years ago, Dustin Pedroia fouled the ball off his foot and broke his foot. He was out for quite a while. 0-2 to Pillar. He hits this ball down the left field line. That's going to bang off the wall. He's headed for second. Ramirez has got a strong arm. The throw is offline. And Pillar has another double. For Kevin Pillar, that's his 7th double. A leadoff double here in the second.
Boy, what a piece of hitting right there by Pillar. You know that leg is hurt, and they try to go back in there again with a breaking ball, and he stays right on it. Pulls those hands in. Good 2-strike approach. That's a short swing. You get a ball down in the corner, and anytime you hit a ball like that, you got to be thinking 2. And he makes it pretty easily. Good start here in the second for the Blue Jays.
41st double for the Blue Jays. Kansas City leads the American League in that department with 43. Prior to the game today in New York, Yankees had 42. Michael Saunders hitting in the 6th spot. He shows bunt, pulls the bat back.
All right, so you say, okay, why is a left-handed batter right here trying to bunt with a runner at second base? Why doesn't he just pull the ball to the right side? Well, with that extreme sinker that he has, that's a hard ball to try and get your hands out, get around, and pull it to the right side of the infield.
Tried to come inside and missed up and away. Now, I don't know that Saunders was doing anything more than surveying that first pitch from Porcello. Saunders is 0 for 6 going up against Rick Porcello. Sometimes you just want to see if memory is correct in what you see out of Porcello's hand.
Probably keep that ball away from him.
He did, but missed. 2-1. The Red Sox scored 4 runs in the bottom of the second, taken early inning, but Blue Jays answered with 5 of their own in the top of the third in last night's game. So it doesn't really matter too much in this ballpark who scores first. It's who scores last.
Yeah,
it's really important.
Who gets the last at bat, right? We've seen that a few times.
Pulled on the right side. Napoli ranges far from the bag. Porcello is off the bag, and Saunders is safe. Napoli made an awkward toss to Porcello because that ball took him so far away from first. He threw it back across his body, and Porcello was off stride when he got to first.
Ideally, you'd like to get that ball to that pitcher where he can catch it and then a couple of steps to find the bag. It's a heck of a call by the first base umpire right there. Seeing that, that's crew chief Bill Miller. Clearly misses the bag on that replay.
You'd like your pitchers to be able to slow down and get under control as they get close to the base.
It's a play that was really slow to develop right there, but ideally you get that first baseman, get him the ball where he's got a couple of steps where he can find the bag and then find the runner behind him.
Dalton Pompey getting his first at bat against Rick Porcello. First and third, nobody out. Ouch. So Pompey gets hit by a pitch. That will load the bases. Now all of a sudden, Porcello, after striking out the side in the first inning, is in a jam early.
Blue Jays have had a walk, a double, an error, and now a hit by a pitch, all in the first 7 batters of this game. That ball hitting Dalton looked like it got him right on the toe, right on the foot. John Farrell must be saying, what's going on with our pitching staff? Starters can't give me any innings.
Josh Tolley, he's got a home run against Rick Porcello. The error was charged to Porcello on the play at first. Tolley fights it off, both pitches in good spots inside. Well, Blue Jays need to take advantage of this. You talk about a beat-up bullpen. Yeah, Gibbons would love to be able to score a couple at least here in the second inning.
Yeah, and he's got R.A. Dickey going, who's He's got his game face on tonight after just throwing 4 2/3 innings last time out. He's looking to go 7 or 8.
Off the glove of Bogaerts, that's into center, and now they got a shot at getting Saunders at third, and Mookie Betts stays with it. So it'll be a fielder's choice for Tolley, but he picks up an RBI as Pilar scores. Saunders had to wait. Looked like Bogaerts had a chance to double to make the catch at short. Watch Saunders, the base runner.
He goes back to the bag because this ball looked like it should have been caught, and to restart and then head to third base, he's an easy out. Mookie Betts picks up his second outfield assist, but Kevin Pilar scores the game's first run.
It's an RBI for Tolley, his first of the season. You don't see that very often, an 8-5 fielder's choice. Number 9 hitter Ryan Goins. Goins in his first at bat against Porcello. Pompey had a pretty aggressive lead at second. Maybe thinking about trying to steal here. Ball on the strike. Porcello walked Travis to start the game in the first and then struck out Donaldson, Bautista, Encarnacion. But Kevin Pilar got things going with a leadoff double. There goes Pompey. Hannigan's throw is not in time. You can see Pompey was confident he could steal it. Hannigan made a good throw but didn't have much of a chance. Pompey got a great jump at second.
Bogaerts, the shortstop, went in and then backed away, giving Dalton lots of room. This is where I think you really have to make sure you make it with the number 9 hitter coming up. He makes it, and things are looking pretty good. Red Sox are taking some time here, like they want to look at this one again.
Yeah, I think that's what's going on. And you can see it was very close at third, and Porcello stayed away from the mound as John Farrell got the word from his video room not to challenge. So this is a real important at bat for Goins. He's got to try to put the ball in play to the outfield, and this is a drill the Blue Jays go through every single day in batting practice.
Situational hitting right here. Infield in, man on third. You got to get the ball in the air. 2-strike approach. Go the other way. There's all kinds of situations that you need to work on.
Rick Porcello, his career against the Blue Jays, those numbers, of course, put together pitching for the Tigers, 2-5, and an opponent's batting average nearly 260. Goins protects that plate and fouls it back. Bryan at shortstop again tonight. In last night's game, Goins had a single and scored in the third, and then had an RBI triple in the fifth. Breaking ball, and Hannigan was able to keep it in front of him. Looked like it was in the dirt. 2-2. Pompey at third base. Josh Tolley at first. Of course, Porcello is a double play machine with that sinking fastball.
Yeah, he's got one of the best percentages of double plays in all of baseball with that sinker. Hitter make him get it up if you're the Blue Jays.
He got it up and fouled it back. That's one thing Porcello has done the last couple of years, is thrown that 4-seam fastball upstairs. When he came up at 20 years old in 2009 with Detroit, he was primarily a sinking fastball curveball pitcher. But he's refined it now so he can cut the ball. He elevates the 4-seamer, sinks the fastball.
Experience. He's able to go out there with a few more weapons. Last season, he used his fastball a little bit more.
Good job by Goins to put a bat on that ball.
That's a 2-strike approach. That's another one of the situations that they work on. Shorten your stride just a little bit. Let the ball travel just a little more, where you're able to recognize the type of pitch. You don't want to strike out here. You want to be able to get that ball in the air and get it into the outfield.
Well, that's the one thing the bottom third of the Blue Jays lineup has done all season long. They have turned the lineup over. They have gotten on base to get that leadoff man up, and then of course with Travis, Donaldson, Bautista, and Encarnacion, you got a chance for a big inning.
Yeah, you turn it over and you bring those guys to the plate with guys on base. That's why the Blue Jays have been able to score double-digit runs 5 times already this season.
The only team in the majors to boast that. Bouncing ball. Pedroia goes to the bag for one. Back to first. Double play. Rick Porcello got what the Red Sox needed. But Kevin Pillar got things going with a leadoff double. He has been hot against the Red Sox. That double leads to a run for the Blue Jays. They lead 1-0.
Connect with the Jays Night presented by Honda. The first 15,000 fans will receive a Blue Jays and one Love TO Come Together t-shirt. Go to BlueJays.com for more.
Thank you very much, Barry. That'll be a great week. The Yankees and the Red Sox in for the 6-game homestand. This is Pablo Sandoval. Signed as a free agent here, and he looks like a terrific fit to this ball club. He spent his entire career with the Giants.
You look at him and you say, well, this guy cannot be a baseball player. But you know what he has? He's got strong hands. Great hand-eye coordination. Watching him take batting practice yesterday and today, and his approach at the plate is simple. And he is strong. Doesn't look like a baseball player, but boy, can he hit.
He is a baseball player. 6 for 7 in the series. His 8th season, and he has really become a much better hitter the last couple of years. He stays on that one and drives it to let Pompey on the run. That ball was sinking quickly, and Pompey stayed with it.
Sinking and slicing, and Dalton ran right through that one. That's what you want to do as an outfielder on those type of balls. Just run right through it. Don't slow down. He's like a sprinter. Just run right through the tape when he goes and catches that ball.
So 1 out. Mike Napoli back in the lineup. He missed the first 2 games of this series dealing with strep throat. Off to a slow start, just a homer and 4 RBIs through 18 games.
He has hit some long home runs against the Blue Jays. And in the past, we had talking about pounding him inside so he doesn't extend those arms, but R.A. Dickey's not that type of guy.
Yeah, he can't do that. You don't want to pound him inside with the knuckleball. You just hope that knuckleball moves off the barrel of the bat. That's a pretty good pitch. Dickey looks like he's got a good knuckleball tonight. And it's such a temperamental pitch. It goes from inning to inning, literally from pitch to pitch. Napoli hits it high in the air. Pilar calling for it. Kevin makes the catch. 2 down.
The DIY Expert Sale, only at Home Building Center and Home Hardware Building Center. Homeowners helping homeowners with expert advice.
This is a statue of Cy Young. It's at Northeastern University here in Boston, and it's appropriate we have a statue of Cy Young tonight with R.A. Dickey on the mound, the 2012 National League Cy Young Award winner.
That was at the site of the first World Series. Right there. Over the Huntington East Ballpark.
And Rock Holt gets hit by a pitch. You can see he's limping a bit going to first, and it hit him in the foot somewhere, but the knuckleball really took off down and in.
Right on that back shoe. Not like Dalton Pompeo when he was hit last inning.
This is Xander Bogaerts with Holt at first. Bogaerts has good numbers against Dickey. 6 for 11. Interesting how different guys will have success. Bogaerts, a youngster just starting out his career, for some reason, he sees that knuckleball well.
He's not a free swinger. You know, we saw in the first inning, Ramirez, who is a free swinger with a long swing, strike out against R.A. Dickey. Xander Bogaerts is a guy who doesn't have a long swing. It's controlled, and it's a short swing. You can see why his numbers are so good.
That gets away, and Holt's going to move to second. Totally made a good throw. Just a little bit late, the ball got loose at second base. The ball didn't go far from home, and totally got on it quickly.
You know, Josh was fighting that one all the way. That thing was moving 3 or 4 different times before it got to home plate. Watch, it's there, and then hits right off his heel of his glove. You're right, doesn't go very far. That's a tough throw for a right-handed catcher. Going away like that, and then trying to flick it all the way down to second base.
Holt now in scoring position. Just caught the inside corner. Two outs. Blue Jays have a 1-0 lead. Josh Tully with the RBI. This is popped up right side of the infield. Encarnacion calls it, makes the catch, and Dickey's through the second. Devin Travis will lead things off when we come back. He's already been on base once tonight. Travis off to a great start in his young career. Devin Travis comes in third in the American League in hitting.
2015-16 NHL regular season game. Register now for Sportsnet's Stanley Cup Playoffs Fantasy Hockey Pool. And don't forget to make your player picks before round 2 begins tomorrow for your chance to win. As much as fantasy leagues are big in baseball, those playoff pools are huge when it comes to hockey.
Well, they sure are. There have been a lot of good series, and we're getting ready for round 2, so make sure you check it all out. Leadoff man Devin Travis has been aboard already tonight. He walked in his first at bat. We mentioned Travis coming into this game a .356 average. That's good for third in the American League. When you look at what Travis has done to start his season, that's the OPS leaders in the American League. Adam Jones, Nelson Cruz, and there he is, Devin Travis, third in the American League.
What does that suggest to you if you're the opposition? Figure out a different way maybe to start pitching Devin.
This ball is hit hard to center field. Mookie Betts is on the warning track. What a catch by Mookie Betts. That ball was destined to be 2, maybe 3 bases. And Mookie Betts, who is a natural second baseman, making the conversion to center, just made a heck of a play.
They got to put him out in the outfield to take advantage of his athletic skills, and they're on display right there. Devin Travis had already come around first base when Mookie does this. Tracks it, stays with it, and then somehow cradles that ball against his chest. It looked like it was trying to pop out of his glove. Yeah, right there, and he holds on to it as he crashes into the wall. Travis had come around first base already. That was going to be a triple at least. But he got a good jump. He stayed right with him. Remember that ball is slicing back over his head? That's a fine play.
Outstanding play by a young center fielder. Josh Donaldson, he struck out on a breaking ball his first time up. Might have been off the plate. Brooks Jacoby has brought it to the attention of the hitters that, hey, everybody's pitching you away. So make an adjustment, move up on a plate. They're not going to give in to you in this ballpark. They're going to make you hit something away.
All the right-handed hitters, they have been pounding them away.
That ball is into the alley in left center. Hanley Ramirez comes over and stays with it to make the catch. 2 down. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Houston 14-7 as Dallas Keuchel improves to 3-0 with a 0.73 earned run average.
That's 10 out of the last 11 ball games for the Astros.
They played well. They're pitching very well. Keuchel, of course, leading the pack. And what Keuchel has done is he's pitched lengthy games. He went 8 innings today, just 3 hits, didn't walk a batter, and struck out 4.
Houston's the only team over 500 in the West. Go figure.
It's a big surprise. Bautista shortens up and takes a strike. There's another pitch outside, and you can see Bautista. There's that 1-1 pitch.
Again,
it swings in the pitcher's favor when the umpire gives him that outside pitch, and that's why Bautista's upset, and Adrian Johnson's having a little discussion about it. Pitch track suggests it's off the plate.
It's off the plate. Ryan Hannigan sets up so deep and then moves in to catch that ball.
This ball is popped up into foul territory. Sandoval, battling the wind, stays with it. And Bautista, he is livid. That pitch appeared to be off the plate outside.
MLB.com At Bat is the official app of Major League Baseball. Listen to live audio, follow games pitch by pitch, and enjoy in-game video highlights. The app is available on the iPhone, iPad, iPod Touch, Android, and BlackBerry. Season-long subscription packages are available. Visit BlueJays.com for more details. And a look at that app today. Following that game in Baltimore between the Orioles and the White Sox, guys, that was very strange to see with absolutely no one in the fans in the crowd today.
Nobody in the ballpark today, and it was an eerie atmosphere. And one thing that happened, they played very quickly. 2 hours and 3 minutes. Of course, in that ball game, Jimenez was very good again. 7 innings, 3 hits, walked 1, struck out 6. Jeff Smarja for the White Sox gave up 7 earnings, 8 runs overall in 5 innings. Chris Davis pounded out his 5th home run in the first inning off Smarja.
So the clock on the pitchers and the players stepping in and out, that doesn't have anything to do with the time of the game.
It's the crowd.
It's the crowd. That's what's making the game so long. Okay.
Hannigan fouls it back. He's behind 1-2. We mentioned the 2-1 count and the 1-2 count, right? In the American League this year, the American League hitters with a 2-1 count are hitting .302. With a 1-2 count, 157.
302, 157. 5, carry with 21.
Are you ciphering?
147 points. Does that sound about right?
That's a lot. And that's when the at-bat swings in the pitcher's favor. And that's what Jose is upset about.
145 points. My bad.
Bad ciphering.
Yeah, I didn't have my glasses on. But that's true. I mean, as a hitter, you want to hit 2-1 as opposed to 1-2. You're on the defensive 1-2.
Well, and that's what, hitting coaches tell you all the time. Get a good pitch. Well, it's hard to get a good pitch when it's 1-2.
Pitchers can expand the strike zone. They're going to go with their strikeout pitch. They're going to use the pitch to really reach back for a little something extra. You're
7
defensive.
7 on that chart right there. That's the pitch that Bautista's been called to strike on. Full count. Hannigan leading off the bottom of the third. The Blue Jays and R.A. Dickey have a 1-0 lead. Mookie Betts, who made that spectacular catch in center field. There's a drive to center. That's going to get down in front of Kevin Pillar. Leadoff single for Ryan Hannigan.
Looked like R.A. did not go to his knuckleball right there. Said there's problems with the walks that we were talking about in the first inning. So number 9 hitter, fastball. Right down the middle. Make him hit his way on it. I don't disagree with that thought process right there.
You never know. He might hit it right at somebody.
Pop it up or hit a grounder. There's nothing wrong with that.
Mookie Betts in this series is 5 for 10. He grounded out the third his first time up. Another fastball. That's the thing we mentioned in 2012. Dickey used a lot of fastballs.
Yeah, his sequence was slow knuckleball for strike 1, harder knuckleball for strike 2, and then sometimes he would lock up those hitters with that good fastball.
Mookie Betts showed bunt and the ball sailed out of the strike zone. Ball is hit into center field. Pillar says he's got room. He makes the catch, and Hannigan will hold it first. So Dickey, with an out now, will pitch to Dustin Pedroia. Pedroia lined a soft liner into foul territory that was caught by Donaldson in the first inning. Pedroia and Devin Travis had quite an exchange near second base in the first game of this series. Devin Travis got to second base, and Pedroia happened to be standing near the bag. He said, "Hey man, I admire your game. I want to be just like you."
This is Devin talking to Pedroia, and Pedroia is notorious about not talking to the opposition. He doesn't want to have anything to do with you. All he wants to do is beat you. But in that instance, how could he be mad? He said thanks very much and turned around and went back to play second base.
And it really pained him to do it.
But Devin's right. He's modeled his game after Pedroia. They're both about the same size. Play the game the right way, the same way. They play very hard. He was paying him a compliment, and Petey said thanks very much. Now,
DeMarlo Hale, of course, coached here with the Red Sox and knows Pedroia very well. And he says, "Hey, Dustin, this kid's a lot like you. He said he's got the same heart you have. He has the same drive. He wants to be great." The ball is driven to right. That's going to get down in front of Saunders, and he keeps it right close to him as it hit right in front of him and popped up. Pedroia with a single. So now Dickey will have two aboard.
Went with that knuckleball and down and away, and Pedroia doesn't try and pull it. He just goes right with it. And Saunders, this is the tough part about playing the outfield. You have to make the decision, do I try and dive for that ball and catch it, or do I just try and block it? If he misses that ball, that's to the wall and it's a run. And Pedroia is standing on third base. So once he decided he couldn't catch it, just get any part of your body in front of it.
David Ortiz singled to center his first time up. Ortiz takes a strike. This is where the Blue Jays play that shift. It's an unusual double play combination with Goins on the first base side of second.
If he pulls the ball on the ground, it's going to be a tough attempt to double him up. I like Ortiz's approach in the first inning. He just hit a soft single the other way. Slowed everything down. Shot a ball into left field.
It's a good perspective from an outfielder's position. Now you have to watch the flight of the ball and get a jump.
Looks now like Ortiz is doing that with two strikes. You see that approach there? It looked like he was slowing it down and trying to slap it the other way.
1-2. Ball inside. He had to protect that inside corner. Ortiz has had a phenomenal career here with the Red Sox. He was signed originally by the Seattle Mariners. He was traded to Minnesota, and then Minnesota let him go. So he's popped over near the seats. Donaldson will get over and give it a look, but it's well back out of play.
Literally let him go. Didn't offer him a contract. He was a free agent for anybody to sign, and Minnesota says that's the biggest mistake that they've ever made.
Terry Ryan has said it, and it was on him. He's the GM at the time that made that decision. But Ortiz was one of those guys that was a kind of a late bloomer, and boy, did he blossom here in Boston. 1-2, 1 out. Well, you can see how he is shortened up. Just trying to put the bat on that knuckleball.
And just massage it if it's away, middle away. He's going to try and hit that ball to left field. Get himself an RBI. I think he'll still try and pull the ball.
There's a little looper. That's going to drop. Hannigan's being waved around third, but here's the throw from Saunders. It's short of the mark. They go to third base, and they're going to get Pedroia. As Saunders threw the ball into the ground close to Encarnacion, the cutoff man. Edwin did a good job of taking that throw and getting the out at third.
That was a heads-up play by Encarnacion. Michael Saunders, usually he had a shot at the plate. He had a shot at Hannigan here as he takes off. And he's just not sure if this ball is going to fall in. When it does, he's got a shot, but he throws it, like you said, into the ground. Cut off by Encarnacion. It's offline and a heads-up play to throw it across the diamond over to third base to record at least one out. Spikes it right into the ground.
Boy, Edwin reacted quickly to get the out at third base. 2 outs. Tie game. 1-1. Ortiz credited with the RBI, his 11th. Oh, and 2. Deep drive to left. Ramirez, number 10. A 2-run home run. Hanley Ramirez leads the majors with his 10th home run.
Homered to right field last night, right down the right field line. That was number 9. Coming into the game now, that is 8 out of his 10 home runs have been pulled to left field. He is going to love hitting in this ballpark and take advantage of that wall in left field. It's not very far. His types of home runs are the home runs that get up in the air quickly, so he's perfect for here. A little tumbling knuckleball with 2 strikes, and he knows he got all of that one. The guys who get hurt here, the guys who hit those line drive home runs, those are the ones that hit off the wall and come back into play. But his home runs are those high arching drives.
201st career home run for Hanley Ramirez has given the Red Sox a 3-1 lead. Encarnacion with that heads-up play, throwing out Pedroia at third, saved the Blue Jays and run. Sandoval flying out to left his first time up. Only the second time he's made outs in this series.
Foul it off. Choke it up right now so he doesn't strike out. Where do you want to pitch Pablo Sandoval? Well, the last 3 games, up and away has really been a danger zone for the Blue Jays. That's where he has really hit him hard.
It's this one hard. Travis gobbles it up, ends the inning, but the Red Sox take the lead. They scored 3 runs on 3 hits and a 2-run home run off the bat of Hanley Ramirez.
Tomorrow night as they take on the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds. It's Game 5 of the OHL Western Conference Final. CHL playoffs on Sportsnet continues tomorrow, 7 o'clock Eastern on Sportsnet 360.
Hanley Ramirez with a 2-run home run. That's his 10th home run of the season. That ties him with David Ortiz for the Boston record for most home runs before May. Ortiz hit 10 home runs in April in 2006, and Ramirez has tied him in his first April with the Red Sox.
He wasn't brought over here for his defense. He's brought over here to hit, and he is hitting.
Edwin Encarnacion. Porcello continues to work that outside corner.
It's interesting how Hannigan sets up so far off the plate and then moves towards the corner as the pitch is being delivered. See that, how he leans back in towards the plate? And I think that's why they're getting a couple of those pitches that look on pitch tracker to be off the plate, but they're being called a strike.
It's an interesting approach, and there's no one way to do it correctly. It works for Ryan Hannigan, and the pitchers that throw to him like throwing to him. Porcello finally has the pitch he wants. And he strikes out Encarnacion. 1 down.
The championship-winning Honda CRF 450R for those who dare to ride red.
One out. We're in the top of the fourth. Boston with a 3-1 lead. Kevin Pillar bumped up into the 5th spot tonight. He goes after that first pitch and hits it into no man's territory. That big alley in right center. Fly balls go to die out there. Big spacious ballpark. It's 420 in that triangle. That's where they call triples triangle. Mookie Betts has got all the attributes you want to play center field here at Fenway Park.
Well, they've got him in an athletic position right here. He was a second baseman. He wasn't going to play second for the Red Sox, so they tried him in the outfield last year, and he's getting better. Just started playing there last year. He's going to be a good one.
Just 22 years old. Same for their shortstop, Xander Bogaerts. He's 22 as well. You know, you mentioned Hannigan and how he gets pitches for Porcello. I think one thing that has a lot to do with it, he gets out of the umpire's way. He stays very low and gives the umpire, Adrian Johnson, a real good look at that strike zone.
Yeah, and gets out on that corner and just leans back in.
That's a tough pitch for an umpire. When the catcher comes inside, umpires like to get into that slot. And there's not much room between the batter and the catcher for the umpire to get a good perspective. On the ground, Pedroia at second. 3 up, 3 down. The Blue Jays go quietly in their half of the fourth. Porcello has sorted things out.
Presented by the 2015 Honda CR-V, Motor Trend's 2015 Sport Utility of the Year.
Beautiful shot at Boston Harbor. We are at Fenway Park, and R.A. Dickey having a rough start this April. You see the .525 earned run average in the first part of the year. Last year, he got off to a rough start. It bounced back very well with a .371 earned run average. And look at even 2012, his Cy Young year. .445 in April. He ended up with a .273 earned run average for the season and won the National League Cy Young Award.
It's such a finicky pitch, that knuckleball in April. If you don't have the innings, I guess, in spring training, then you come north and you're not ready to throw it in the cold weather. You know, that ERA will get inflated, but he has always been able to bounce back. Once the season starts warming up and he gets into a groove and he figures out what he's doing wrong, he's always come back.
He's a hard worker. He really works at his craft. He'll come out and throw all those side sessions and try to figure out what might lead to more consistency.
One year it was take a little something off the knuckleball. Another year it was throw it a little bit harder. And he'll figure it out. The first year that he was with the Blue Jays, he had a neck problem, if you remember that.
Well, if the knuckleball was easy, everybody would throw it. It's not an easy pitch. Napoli hits it on the ground. Goins across the diamond in time. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Thank you very much, Jamie, and I'm happy to say your Dan Ventura hasn't hit anybody yet.
He better not. That's a game where a couple of flamethrowers, young flamethrowers, are throwing in that game for Kansas City and Cleveland.
Danny Salazar is on the mound for Cleveland. He has 4 strikeouts through 4 innings. Cleveland added a pitcher. Ryan Webb was called up today. Jerry Sands, an outfielder, was designated for assignment. So we'll have a new player when we get to Cleveland. Blue Jays will play the Indians in a 4-game series. That ball is lined to left. Pompey, dealing with the bank of lights above the Red Sox dugout, stayed with it. Now he can smile, a sheepish smile, saying that wasn't as easy as it looked.
Yeah, sometimes you get just a little bit lower to try and stay out of the lights, just try and get that, and you just pray that that ball hurries up and gets out of that bank of lights so you can pick it back up.
Brian Butterfield, the third base coach for the Red Sox, of course, longtime coach with the Blue Jays. He came here with John Farrell, Torey Lovella. Lovella was the bench coach, and you've known Butterfield forever.
For a long time, 35 years or so. He's moving a little bit slow right now. He had some knee surgery in the off season. We had a great visit before the ball game. You and I had to visit with our old pal.
Bouncing ball, big hop for Donaldson. In time, good bounce back inning for R.A. Dickey. Retires the side in order. We'll go to the 5th. Boston with a 3-1 lead. Now it's time for a Blue Jays Central update. Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn.
glove on him. It's something that he's only been using for batting practice. The glove he had been using is one that goes back 5 or 6 years. He showed it to me before the game. He says it's just getting too flimsy, and maybe that's one of the reasons why he's been having trouble kind of corralling the balls. But this was his first time using it, and he's 1 for 1 so far tonight. Buck?
Well, that's a good little note. Ball players are very superstitious about their gloves, and I remember one of my teammates, Amos Otis, had a glove that had a hole in the pocket, literally. It was so old he had worn a hole right in the middle of the pocket. And then somebody broke into the clubhouse while we were on the road in Milwaukee and stole it. He told the story to a writer about how long he'd been using it, and they brought the glove back.
The guys who stole it?
Yeah.
Nice.
It showed up on the sidewalk, but they got the glove back.
Reminds me of the story of the bat. Didn't Joe DiMaggio lose a bat like that and made a big story about that?
A plea, yeah, asked for it.
And they brought it back during his hit streak?
Yeah, it was a Yankee fan, I'm sure. This is Dalton Pompey. Did you ever have a special glove that you used for a number of seasons?
No, because I didn't. I wasn't known as a glove man.
Oh, you weren't a glove guy, huh?
I did have like 5 of them.
You had to
first
play
baseman,
all over, yeah.
An infielder, a third base, an outfield. I knew guys, though, like what you were talking about with Amos Otis, like they had used it so much and worn a hole in it where they had to send it back to the Mizuno people or the Rollins people, and they would sew a piece of leather over that hole,
yeah,
so they could still use the same glove.
Because it's such an important thing. You really hear it a lot with middle infielders.
Mm-hmm.
That's foul tip into the glove of Hannigan. Catcher's gloves, I know, and I wasn't an everyday player, never played every day, but I would use 2 or 3 gloves during the season because I'd have to catch so many pitchers in the bullpen.
They would break it in.
Yeah, and literally, it takes you quite a while to break in your glove. A guy like Dustin Pedroia, I bet you he's got some stories about favorite gloves that he's had over the years. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Pompey leading off the 5th. He strikes out. That's the 5th strikeout. And it's an interesting night for strikeouts. Rick Porcello has 5. On this night, April 29th in 1986, Roger Clemens struck out 20 Seattle Mariners for the first time right here in this ballpark.
Right here in this ballpark. I remember that. That was April 29th. I do remember that.
And he would later on do it 10 years later in Detroit. Another 20 strikeout night. The Blue Jays have really been battling with strikeouts on this road trip.
They've run into some really tough pitching, but they've been striking out a lot.
Bouncing ball, looked like Porcello got a piece of it. Pedroia is there to back him up. And he makes the play. The Blue Jays have 169 strikeouts to this point. That's 4th most in the American League. Looked like Porcello deflected it right toward his second baseman, Pedroia.
Josh has been robbed twice now. Josh Tolley. He had a single to left field that turned into a fielder's choice when the center fielder threw him out at third base, and that one looked like it was heading out into center field before Porcello knocked it down.
Porcello's getting those calls on the edges, both sides of the plate. Goins hit into an inning-ending double play in the second when the Blue Jays managed just 1 run against Porcello. They had him on the ropes. Again, you can see where that second pitch was to Goins. It was down and in, and Hannigan wanted it up and in. But Porcello has enough velocity, he was able to make a mistake and get away with it.
He's throwing harder than I remember. He's 93 tonight. He doesn't have that turbo sinker that we saw when he was a player with the Detroit Tigers, but his command is a lot better.
Trying to go upstairs again. And got it up there that time. Porcello got to the big leagues as a 20-year-old starter. In 2009, he went 14-9 after 1 year in the Florida State League. He pitched at Lakeland. He threw 125 innings his first professional season.
And it's been good ever since.
You know what? He came up and he was surrounded by big-time pitchers. Of course, that first year in 2009, Justin Verlander was in his prime, and he was there. Edwin Jackson, Armando Galarraga, they were part of the staff. And he threw 170 2/3 innings that first season. Off the end of the bat, Sandoval takes his time. 3 up, 3 down for Porcello. He's retired 10 straight.
Monday, when the New York Yankees come to town, a great May at Rogers Center. Boston Red Sox follow the Yankees, and then visits from the Angels, the Mariners, and then we get a chance to see Melky Cabrera in a White Sox uniform as they come to town May 25th through 27th. Go to BlueJays.com for tickets. Buck?
You saw that fellow with the Expos jacket on. Yep, that is the spaceman, Bill Lee. And you can bet he's spinning some yarns about pitching here at Fenway Park. I remember a day when I threw that curveball and struck out that tough batter. He had quite a career.
He was my favorite Red Sox for one day in October of 1975. You know what I'm talking about.
You were a Reds fan.
I was a Reds fan, and he threw that blooper pitch to Tony Perez, and Tony Perez hit it over the Green Monster, and the Reds were back in the game.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bill Lee.
This is Ryan Hannigan, and he strikes out. First out of the bottom of the 5th inning for the Red Sox.
The DIY Expert Sale, only at Home Building Center and Home Hardware Building Center. Homeowners helping homeowners with expert advice.
We are in Boston. This is the series finale, game 3 of this 3-game set. Each team has won a game. Mookie Betts, the center fielder, 0 for 2 so far. Bounces that one foul. Betts made a terrific defensive play, robbing Devin Travis in the 3rd inning. Travis lined one, looked like it was going over the head of Mookie Betts in center, but he stayed with it. Fell to the warning track and crashed up against the wall, but held on. That's a good knuckler. Good job by Tolley to corral that knuckleball. 2 strikeouts for Dickey here.
Both of these pitchers look like they're starting to hone in on that strike zone. Watch the movement as it shakes its way towards home plate. Tolley frames it up for Adrian Johnson to call. After the home run by Ramirez, RA's set down every Red Sox hitter.
Pedroia hooks it foul. Mark Burley, Drew Hutchison. As Hutchison had a forgettable outing here last night as he couldn't get out of the 5th inning. Pedroia bounces it off home plate. Dickey is a good fielder, but he's not going to have a chance here. R.A. Dickey did everything he could to retire Pedroia, but it'll be an infield hit.
First of all, the effort to go get the ball, outstanding. He always ends up in very good fielding position, and then he goes up the hill, then down the hill, catches the ball, and look at this turn and tries to fire over to first base. Wow, what a play.
That is really amazing, and you have been involved when you're on the infield in the pop-up and you run up that mound when you're looking at a baseball. That's a tough thing to do.
And then you got to run down the mound and then keep your eye on the baseball.
David Ortiz is 2 for 2 tonight. Had a little looping base hit into right field. That drove in the first Red Sox run in the 3rd inning. That tied it up at 1-1. Bouncing ball. Goins ranges to his left and makes the play. Ortiz retired for the first time. The Pedroia 2-out single doesn't hurt. We'll go to the 6th inning. Boston has a 3-1 lead. Devin Travis, Donaldson, and Bautista when we come back.
Hit one out of the ballpark? Well, you can join Roberto Alomar and friends for the Charity Home Run Challenge. It's in support of the G's Care Foundation. It goes May 7th at Rogers Center and on June 23rd at Labatt Park. Join Roberto Alomar, Jesse Barfield, Lloyd Mosby, Devon White, and Dwayne Ward. You get to take batting practice with some Blue Jay legends. Who knows, maybe Dwayne Ward will send you up some easy fastballs. Go to BlueJays.com/home run challenge for more. Dwayne throws those soft, easy home run fastballs, right, Buck?
Dwayne Ward would never give anybody a cookie to hit. I don't care how old he is or who he's facing. He was as competitive as anybody.
And if they took a big swing on him,
you know where to come down.
He'd drill him. That away.
Well, Blue Jays need to get something going, and they got the right part of the lineup up here. It'll be Travis, Donaldson, and Bautista. They trail by 2. We're in the 6th. The Blue Jays, scoring a run here tonight, have 117 runs scored. That's the most that they have scored in the month of April since 2009. They scored 125 runs that April. Well, that's a breaking ball. He threw it right at Devin Travis, and he couldn't pull the trigger.
The championship-winning Honda CRF 450R for those who dare to ride red.
Beautiful shot of Fenway Park as the lights have taken full effect now.
You were mentioning about the Blue Jays scoring all those runs in the month of April. I'd like to see a little bit more consistency, though, from them. They've scored double digits 5 times. Then there are other times where they just score 1 or 2. Pitching has something to do with that. I get it. But the consistency where you're moving runners, you're coming up with clutch hits, you're doing some of the little things that'll help you score runs.
Rick Porcello had 1 rocky inning. That was in the second, and all the Blue Jays could do was muster 1 run. He walked the leadoff batter in the first, then struck out the side. Second inning, Pilar with a leadoff double. Blue Jays had the bases loaded, but all they could get was 1 run. This is a pop of Napoli over into foul ground. That's drifting over near the seats, but he stays with it. That's 11 straight set down by Rick Porcello. We mentioned Porcello was given an extension.
I've always liked this guy. He comes right after you when he keeps the ball down. His ball moves. He's got 4 different pitches that he can use to get you out. I've always thought he was a really good pitcher.
Well, the Tigers did a great job with him. As we mentioned, he only pitched 1 season in the minor leagues. His first season he pitched at Lakeland in the Florida State League. Came out of high school, went to Seton Hall Prep in New Jersey.
He was drafted low. They thought that he was going to be a higher draft pick. His demands were up there.
This ball is hit into the air in center field. Mookie Betts is there. Bautista's retired. Another 3-up, 3-down inning for Rick Porcello. He only had 1 hiccup. That was in the second, and only cost him 1 run.
Picture of where you're watching on Rogers NHL Game Center Live for a chance to win the ultimate VIP experience at a Stanley Cup final game and more. Visit sportsnet.ca/Stanley Cup moments for details. Buck?
Thank you, Barry. Great opportunity to get a trip of a lifetime. Let's go to the Stanley Cup Finals. R.A. Dickey working to Hanley Ramirez. Ramirez hit a long home run into the Green Monster seats back in the third. He capped off a 3-run inning. His 10th home run gives him the major league lead in that department.
That's what you'll get. You'll get a strikeout like they got from him his first time up. But if you miss your spots, you can hit a long way.
That home run for Ramirez gave him 10 in the month of April. That ties him with David Ortiz for the most homers by a Red Sox hitter before May. This is bounced off home plate. Donaldson will grab it in foul ground.
He was tied with Manny Ramirez with those 9 home runs, but this one right here ties him with David Ortiz. Long fly ball to left field, and the park is not going to hold it. That's 5 home runs in 5 games now for Hanley Ramirez.
Hanley needs a chin strap for that helmet.
Yeah.
He swings so violently that that helmet pops off every time he swings. He's been a good acquisition. He was originally a Red Sox player, played in the minor leagues, was part of the big deal with the Florida Marlins. They brought Josh Beckett and Mike Lowell here. There he strikes out. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Boy, that's always a concern when you've got big arms like Ventura and Salazar. And that's an unfortunate development. Of course, Escobar was at second base when that hard slide from Laurie created the ill feelings between the A's and the Royals that spilled over for the entire 3-game series. Boy, Kansas City, they're swinging the bats. They are really hitting the ball well. Moustakas is hitting .357, Kane .333.
Took some
Hosmer,
time
300
for their young hitters to get acclimated in the big leagues, but I think what they did last year, getting into the World Series, I think those young hitters are now professional hitters.
This is a little chopper, and Dickey will take his time, and he throws out Sandoval, 2 outs. Well, Sandoval is 0 for 3 tonight against R.A. Dickey after coming in 6 for 7 in the previous 2 games.
He's got a good knuckleball tonight. He's only given up 6 hits.
This is Mike Napoli. Napoli, as we mentioned earlier, was out of the first 2 games of the series because of strep throat. They had called up Jackie Bradley Jr. as insurance should they need another position player with Napoli unavailable. But Napoli is in the game. Jackie Bradley Jr. is in Pawtucket. Ground ball, Donaldson. Encarnacion, 3 up, 3 down. Good inning for Dickey. Well, the Blue Jays got to figure out Rick Porcello. He's retired 14 straight. Edwin Encarnacion will lead things off when he comes back. He has hit well here at Fenway. He needs to start the Blue Jays here in the 7th.
Sunday, May 10th. Not only do the Red Sox visit the Rogers Center, but the first 20,000 fans will receive a Josh Donaldson white replica jersey. Go to BlueJays.com for more. What a great way to spend your Mother's Day at the ballpark. Buck?
That's right, Barry. It'll be a great opportunity to pick up that jersey, Josh Donaldson replica jersey. Hopefully you'll come out and have a great Mother's Day. Spend it at Rogers Center, at least part of your day. Edwin Encarnacion takes one just off the plate outside. At the top of the zone. Ball in the strike. Boston has a 3-1 lead. He didn't mean to, but found it.
Boy, they get him outside, and he starts looking outside, and they bust him in with that fastball. I think that's the biggest thing for Porcello over the last 4 years is his strike percentage with his fastball has just been so much better. He's been putting it in a good spot, inside and outside.
Porcello tonight has gone over 1,100 innings in his career, and they have done a great job of his development. Tigers, of course, responsible for that. But now he's here with Boston, and I think John Farrell loves the consistency and the fact that he's in the prime of his career.
Yeah, he's 26 years old. He's from this area.
There's a little flare, and that's going to drop for a base hit. Encarnacion will stop at first as Brock Holt got over there and quickly plays it back in. That snaps a streak of 14 straight retired by Rick Porcello.
Last batter to reach was Dalton Pompey when he was hitting the foot back in the second inning. It's a curveball. They wanted that one down and away for Edwin to reach for. And he just muscles that ball, and it stays fair down the right field line. Good start here in the seventh.
Hey, whatever it takes. Kevin Pillar has scored the only Blue Jays run. He led off the second with a double. Kevin's had a good series. 1 for 2 tonight.
It's a good bounce back series for Pillar. He had a rough one down in Tampa against those pitchers. He was a little bit too anxious, it looked like, in Tampa, where he was jumping out there a little bit too quickly. Slowed things down here in Boston. He's had a good series.
6 for 10 to this point. And you're right. I think he has just gotten to the point where he said, okay, let the ball come to me. I don't have to go out and hit it halfway to the mound. Ball on the strike. Encarnacion at first. Ground ball. Bogarts comes at it, shovels quickly to Pedroia, but Pillar's got too much speed. One out on the fielder's choice. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Michael Kadire hit a 2-run home run off Matt Latos in the first inning. Stanton, his 6th home run, also a 2-run shot, has tied it. Giancarlo Stanton.
It was
has
Mike.
taken his face guard off.
Yeah.
That's a good sign. He's obviously feeling more comfortable. Remember, he got hit in the face by Mike Fiers last year in Milwaukee and started the season with a protective cage on his helmet on that left side of his face.
Blue Jays will see the Marlins this year, won't they? They come to the Rogers Center.
I believe they do, and you get a chance to see Giancarlo Stanton at Rogers Center. This is Michael Saunders. Saunders reached base in the second and contributed to the only run the Blue Jays have scored. He hit a little chopper over toward first. Napoli played it back to the first base bag, and Porcello missed the bag, so he was charged with an error. Blue Jays have just 2 hits tonight. Pilar hit a double in the second, and then Edwin Encarnacion got jammed and flared one into right. The only 2 hits.
And we will keep our eye on Pilar over there at first base, because they have not been able to hit the ball tonight, and Porcello gets a lot of ground ball outs. Pilar is 3 for 3 in stolen bases this year.
Red Sox are aware of that, obviously, with Porcello throwing over to first.
Runners are 3 for 3 off of Porcello this year in stolen bases, so it might be a good time to go.
Looked like he thought about it. And that pitch looked like it was off the plate as well. Another 1-2 count for Porcello. He's been in this count all night long. Now it's 2-2. Dalton Pompey, a switch hitter, is on deck. There's 1 out. Red Sox have turned 1 double play tonight.
This is the pitch that you want to go on. I think they don't want to get the 3-2 to Michael Saunders. This is the one he wants to get him out on.
There goes Pilar. He's running, and Saunders fouls it back.
You have to. You know that the Red Sox and Porcello don't want to go to 3-2 to Saunders, so he's going to try and strike him out, or he's going to make his best pitch right here. So that's the time that you take off. Pilar got a good jump.
The problem for the Blue Jays is that they have been striking out a lot. They have 6 strikeouts again tonight, and you run the risk of a strike him out, throw him out. Not running here. Just inside. Porcello wanted it. He missed with that fastball inside. I think you run him for sure here now, even though there's just 1 out. Try to stay out of a double play and get Pilar into scoring position.
He's got a good lead at first base.
Got to make sure he goes home. There he goes. Foul down the left side. That's going to slice out of play. Well, the pitchers have had the upper hand for sure tonight. 4 runs on 8 hits combined by the 2 teams, Rick Porcello and R.A. Dickey. Dickey gave up a 2-run home run to Hanley Ramirez in the 3rd. That's the difference in this ball game. Dickey's had a good knuckleball since.
A little bit different than last night. Pitchers in control today.
There's ball 4. Pilar was on the move. Saunders walks. He reaches for a second time. Red Sox bullpen is working. That's Junichi Tazawa. He pitched an inning last night and gave up a home run to Josh Donaldson. Tom Farrell has added 2 more pitchers to his bullpen today. Lane and Hinojosa. They brought 2 pitchers up from AAA. They're playing with just 3 position players on the bench.
Reinforcements for the bullpen. It's almost like he's committed to Porcello this inning.
Pompey drives it to center. Mookie Betts has plenty of room. Pilar goes back to tag at second. He'll move up. Pompey flies out to center. But now there are 2 outs. So Josh Tolle, he's kind of had a disappointing night. He hit what looked like a base hit into center field in the second. Mookie Betts threw out Michael Saunders over at third. Saunders had to hold at second because it was a line drive just over the shortstop's glove. Tolle got an RBI. But then in the 5th inning, he bounced the ball over the mound. Looked like it was going to get through into center, but Porcello deflected it right to Dustin Pedroia.
So he could easily be 2 for 2 tonight. Save that base hit for right here. Get some runners on.
2 outs. Pilar at third, Saunders at first. Well, that's a good first pitch in this at bat. Threw that breaking ball over for a strike.
Let's put a little something more in the mind of Josh Tolle.
This is a fly ball to left, a routine play for Hanley Ramirez. Tolle's retired. The Blue Jays strand a pair in their half of the 7th. Rick Porcello, a 7-inning outing, something the Red Sox have been looking for.
You need for the Stanley Cup playoffs and Toronto Blue Jays. Shop tsc.ca. Buck?
Thank you, Barry. We go inside Fenway Park. They have done a great job of renovating this storied old baseball park. That's the food court out there beyond the bleachers in right. R.A. Dickey's had a good outing. He hasn't walked a batter tonight. 91 pitches. The only problem he ran into was that home run.
He's had that bounce back game that the Blue Jays needed. Right here, get a little bit deep and give your team a chance to win.
This is the right fielder, Brock Holt. Bottom third of the Red Sox order. Holt, Bogarts, and catcher Ryan Hanigan. This is going to be a base hit over the shortstop into left field. Holt with a leadoff single here in the center.
I'm sure that'll get the bullpen moving around for the Blue Jays.
Indeed it has, as they're starting to stir down there. Looks like Liam Hendricks is the first one up for the Blue Jays. Brock Holt at first. Dickey's got a quick move. Bogaerts popped out and grounded out. Dickey has done a good job throwing strikes, 95 pitches, as you see Hendricks starting to loosen up.
It was a long look at Brian Butterfield, the third base coach, by Bogaerts.
Down and away, 2-0. It's so difficult to play hit and run with a knuckleballer on the mound. You just don't know where the ball's going, and it's a tough pitch to put in play. The reason you might play hit and run is, first, it's slow. Second, it's tough to catch. And you might get a runner into scoring position, but Dickey does a great job of holding runners close and unloading.
Quick to the plate.
Oh, he had him leaning right there.
Yep.
Oh, it looked like he was about to break for second.
He was starting to suggest that they might be putting hit and run on. Watch this. Watch the move to whoops, get back. Like they were trying to put the hit and run on.
There's a pop. You got to stay with this ball. It'll blow back toward the field, and Pompeo was right there, but it's back into the seats. Anything up in the air down that left field line will blow back over the playing field once it gets above the stands.
And we have seen left fielders here. You go over there, they give up on it, and it just blows back higher, a little higher balls above the bleachers out there. But there's not a lot of room. So you give up on that, and it blows right back into fair territory. You got to stay with it. I asked Dalton if he knew about that. He said that's one of the first things outfield coach Tim Leeper told me when we came here on Monday, that the ball that gets up above the stands in left field is going to blow back in to stay with it.
Ground ball. Donaldson at third will take it in foul ground. That wasn't going to be a double play ball. Donaldson was set up to throw across the diamond to first. R.A. Dickey now at 99 pitches, but this has been his most consistent start of the season.
Shutting down a good team. The Red Sox scored 8 runs last night.
Good ratio. He's thrown a lot of strikes tonight. 73%. He was about 50-50 for most of his starts this season. Bogaerts waits on it and pulls it foul. First time all season, Dickey hasn't issued a walk. There's a base hit into center field. Holt will stop at second. Bogaerts with his first hit of the night.
Boy, you can see R.A. how upset he is, not because he threw a bad pitch. He actually threw a pretty good pitch. His reaction after the base hit was like, how in the heck did you hit this ball? Look where it is, away. And on the 8th pitch of the at-bat, he says to Bogaerts, how did you reach that ball? The ball was off the plate.
Bogaerts, good-looking young hitter. Now the Blue Jays are expecting a bunt. Donaldson at third has already shortened up. He's in front of the bag on the grass. And kind of showing the same over at first. Hannigan, the catcher, number 9 hitter. He squares early and bunts it foul.
Well, it's almost got to be a perfect bunt right here because they are crashing hard. Encarnacion from first base. Dickey off the mound. He gets off the mound. His responsibility is the left side of the infield. Josh Donaldson is going to read the ball off the bat in his pitcher, R.A. Dickey. And if he thinks that Dickey can get that ball, he's going to go back to third base to record the out there. So the bunt almost has to be perfect if you want to get these two runners in the scoring position.
He bunts that one on the ground. Encarnacion thinks about third and made another good play. He looked up and Brock Holt was steaming toward third. He had it in his mind to go to third. Holt runs well, and Encarnacion decided, I better take the guy at first.
Yeah, you got to get an out. You can see Edwin coming, and the ball's one hop to him, and he had thoughts of going there. It would have been close because it's a force play at third base, but you have to have confidence in your throwing ability. And it would have been close. You see Donaldson saying, give me that ball. I think we could have had him, but they give up an out by bunting. You have to get an out somewhere.
Infield is in for Mookie Betts. He hacks at the first pitch. Betts is 0 for 4.
And that's the kind of swing right there that his hitting coach, Chili Davis, wants to see from him. He says, fire your hands. Don't hold back. I don't want you to massage the ball to right field.
Mookie Betts has a little pop in his back. During batting practice before the game, Betts was taking BP, and after every swing, he'd turn to Chili Davis and go, like that?
And that's what he was talking about. He says he wants to fire those hands. Don't hold back. Let it go. We don't want a punch and Judy hitter. He has got some quick hands.
Well, especially in this ballpark. You want your hitters to hit. The advantage of playing here at Fenway is that green monster. That will take away home runs, but it'll give you a lot of doubles, and fly balls will turn into home runs. 1-2. Ground ball, base hit through the right side. Holtz in to score. Here comes Bogaerts right behind. The throw is a good one, and in time, Tolley tags out Bogaerts. Strong throw from Michael Saunders to cut down a run. But Mookie Betts drives in the fourth Red Sox run with a base hit to right.
You know, when you have quick hands like Mookie Betts has, you can wait a long time and still generate a lot of power. He powers this ball through the infield, waiting on it. Holt scores, but Michael Saunders comes up and throws a perfect ball towards a plate. Textbook. One step, a throw. You want to short hop it, so it comes right into the catcher. One hop. He blocks off the plate. Bogaerts has no place to go and is tagged out by Tolley.
They're going to challenge the call at the plate. You can see Tolley tagged Bogaerts before he got to the plate. Well, we had the advantage of seeing that angle. Good throw by Saunders, his second in this game, and this is a beauty.
One hop. He's giving him a lane. I think that's where they're going to be asking. Does he give him a lane before he has the ball? Remember, that thing all changed last year. Catcher has to be stationed in front of home plate. Give a lane to that runner. Now, once he catches the ball, he can slide over.
Yeah, it just depends on where Josh is set up. Right there, he is given the lane. There's a lane for the runner. The lane is now off, and that's going to be interesting because he moved that left foot over in front of home plate. And the crew chief on the left is Bill Miller, the home plate umpire who made the call, Adrian Johnson, and John Farrell has asked for a review.
If the throw takes you there, then you can shuffle your feet. Here's the lane. One more time. Watch the catcher, Josh Tolley. You get out in front. He's giving him a lane. Now he's got to go find the baseball. He still has a lane. He's going to go find it. And I didn't see anything there that suggests that he was trying to block him off the plate.
No, I think you're right. The ball was a little bit up the line toward third, so Josh moved to make a catch on the ball. And remember, the video review has to be conclusive that there was something to make them overturn it. And as we mentioned, the crew chief, Bill Miller, is listening to the review in New York. And of course, that is the second runner. The first runner, there's no question, Brock Holt scored. And Saunders threw out Bogarts. That's the ruling on the field. Umpire's taking a long time, and you know what? It is the position of the catcher. The tag appeared to be right there. No question about whether or not he tagged it. But I still say, if you eliminated that silly rule, you wouldn't have any problems.
Caused a lot of controversy last year. You and I spent the whole season last year asking catchers and managers and back and forth, what's the exact rule. And a lot of times, Buck, a lot of them said, we're not real sure.
There's the veteran crew chief, Bill Miller, on the left. He's umpiring at first.
John Farrell has nothing to lose on this one.
No, absolutely. It's a run at stake, and if you get him to overturn it, it's going to be your fifth run. This thing's not working. That's what he's saying.
It looks like they're having trouble.
Yeah, that's why it's taking so long. Anybody got a cell phone? That's what is taking so long. And now, evidently, they have a ruling. They're going to go inside. And that's what's going to happen. They're going to go into the umpire's room.
Yep.
And they have just informed the other two umpires, we have to go inside and use a phone and talk to New York to get the proper calling here.
Meanwhile,
Dickey's standing out in the cold.
Yeah. Not good.
Well, and that's unfortunate. You would think that technology would be such that they wouldn't have to rely on something other than the equipment that was set up to provide the umpires with the information. But Bill Miller told John Gibbons, hey, we're having trouble with the headset, and now we got to go into our umpires room. John Farrell is going to come out and be updated by exactly what's going on. Yeah, he said the umps had to go back inside the room. That is Doug Eddings, who is over at third base, and Dickey's got to try to stay loose. Well, while we've got a moment, we want to remind you that this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. We're in the bottom of the seventh inning. The Red Sox have scored a run here. The delay is because the Red Sox have challenged the play on the second runner.
First one scores. And you see Josh Tolley, he sets up, he's got that left foot in front, and he's giving him a lane. Now the throw's going to take him where he has to adjust to get it. And when he did that, that foot blocked off the plate. What's the repercussion for this? If they change this call, saying that he was blocking the plate, that's another run for the Red Sox, and now take it off the board. So John Farrell he has nothing to lose.
No, it's a good challenge for Farrell. And what you're contesting, I assume, and obviously we don't know it, we don't have the benefit of being down on the field, but I would assume it's the position of Josh Tolley when he set up for that. And Dickey, of course, is have to stand out there and
he's not happy.
Now, I mean, this is his best start of the year, and it's being interrupted, and it's a lengthy delay.
The umpire's room. Did you ever find the umpire's room today? You were going to go look for
back upstairs.
Upstairs and then down the hallway, isn't it?
It's really, well, obviously, this is an antiquated stadium, so they had to squeeze it in. And now, John Gibbons is contemplating what they're going to do. This has been a 7-minute delay to this point. And Dickey's probably, well, here comes Adrian Johnson. Bill Miller is out, and they're going to uphold the ruling on the field, but they had to go to their umpire's room to communicate with New York.
And Dickey wants to throw it. I think they should allow him to throw a few baseballs here.
Of course. It's an unusual circumstance that the delay took so long. He said, I just need a couple more pitches to get back into it. I don't think anybody can argue that that common sense prevails. So Mookie Betts, with his first hit of the night, drives in the 4th run. It's a big run, obviously, with Porcello pitching so well. Blue Jays have scored 1 run on 2 hits through 7 innings. And Pat, that's what you were talking about. The Blue Jays, they've got a potent offense, but it's been up and down.
Yeah, the inconsistencies. Last night, 11 runs on 17 hits. Tonight, 1 run on 2 hits.
Dustin Pedroia, he's got a couple of hits. He had an infield single over the mound in the 5th, and Betts is a threat to run. This is a perfect time for Betts to gamble.
Yeah, and why wait? Multiple pitches into the at-bat to Pedroia. Go early in the count.
He didn't go, and Pedroia grounds out to end the inning, but the Red Sox on 3 hits get a big insurance run. We go to the 8th inning. Boston leads it 4-1. New pitcher into the ball game is Junichi Tazawa. He pitched an inning in last night's game. Gave up a long home run to Josh Donaldson. The only hit he allowed, he struck out 2.
There are his numbers. Excellent numbers for Tazawa. Fastball, slider, splitter. That he can get a lot of strikeouts. You can see 10 strikeouts and just 1 walk. But he has had his trouble against the Blue Jays. You mentioned that he pitched in last night's game and gave up a home run. His ERA in his career versus the Blue Jays, 7.17.
Absolutely incredible the way the Blue Jays hit Tazawa. He handles everybody else with aplomb, and the Blue Jays, for some reason, just wear him out. Josh Donaldson hit the 9th home run that Tazawa has given up to the Blue Jays. We're in the 8th. Ryan Goins was after the first pitch. That's just foul outside of first. Bill Miller had a good look at it. Napoli was guarding the line, and it bounced past Napoli, but it was foul. Rick Porcello with a superb 7-inning start. Porcello goes 7 innings, allows 1 run on 2 hits. He walked 2 and struck out 6. The Blue Jays had him up against the ropes in the second, but managed just 1 run.
There are those numbers that we were talking about. In 23 games versus the Blue Jays, his ERA is up over 7. To put that into context, Tazawa's career ERA coming into this year, 3.2. Last year he pitched to a 286 earned run average in 63 innings with 64 strikeouts, but it's not the same when he faces the Blue Jays.
John Farrell doesn't hesitate to bring him in here. He is the 8th inning guy, the setup man for Koji Uehara. Goins gets jammed, little flare into center, and that's going to drop in front of Mookie Betts. He kicks it with his glove to the left, but not far enough for Goins to advance. Goins has a base hit to start the 8th.
Guys, the All-Star ballots came out today, and among the first-time Blue Jays on it are this man right here, Devin Travis. He had no idea he was even on the ballot until Jose Bautista tweeted fans to vote him in. He says he was completely blown away to see his name on an All-Star ballot. He told me it was just a few years ago that he was one of those fans in the ballpark punching out the holes for players, and now he's on it. He's pretty amazed by everything he's had to go through so far.
Barry, he has certainly earned his position on that All-Star ballot with a great first month.
Get that ballot right there and go home and frame it, because that's really cool. Special.
First month in your big league career, and you get on the All-Star ballot.
Well, you're right. He's earned it. Now he's in tough against Tazawa. This is where his ability to wait on pitches and to hit the right field, I think, can come into play. Teams have obviously going to start something different, pitching it a little bit different.
What's the mindset of the Blue Jays lineup now that Porcello's out of the game and Tazawa's in the game?
I think simply do what you've been doing in the past against him. Look for that fastball, look for that splitter. It's a little bit different. He doesn't throw, well, it just doesn't look like he's throwing it hard as Porcello. Where it looks like he was trying to shoot that ball to right field. Teams obviously have to change the way that they have been pitching him. He's been hitting everything. One place where they might start to go is away. He's only hit 220 on pitches on the outer third of the plate so far this year. And that's what I mean, that short swing and that ability to hit the ball the other way. If they try to go out there, he can shoot that ball through that right side.
He has 26 hits. 13 of them have been to right. Half of his hits. Goins obviously is not going to run here. You got the big bats following Travis. Alexi Ugando, hard throwing right-handed, begins to loosen up. Good take. And runs it to 3-1.
Just like that, he's in trouble. He has not had any luck in his career versus the Blue Jays.
Now, Donaldson hit the home run off of Tazawa last night. One more batter on base, and Donaldson steps to the plate representing the tying run. Goins with that leadoff single. There's a fly ball to right. Brock Holt there makes the catch. Donaldson will step in with one out and a man on.
Each one of the next 3 hitters have hit one career home run off of Shinichi Tozawa. This is Donaldson's pitch right down the middle. That's a long way. The dead center field bounces around. Finished it up for the Blue Jays last night. But these are the guys you want facing Tozawa. Every one of them have good numbers against them.
Donaldson last night was looking for a fastball and got it against Tozawa. Hit that home run. Set up away. Donaldson has a pretty good plan of attack when he steps in. 5-16 for Donaldson.
It looks like a strike, doesn't it? The way that the catcher Ryan Hannigan sets up against all these right-handers. Sets up off the plate, and as the pitch is being delivered, he just leans back to the middle of the home plate. And when he catches it in the middle of his body.
Tozawa wasn't sure about the sign, so he stepped off quickly. Ball and strike. Top of the 8th inning. Donaldson is aware that Blue Jays need one more base runner. During that tie run to the plate, Bautista is behind Donaldson.
If he's going to strike him out, he's going to use that split. And this might be the time to use it.
Another 1-2 count. There it is, and he bounced it in the dirt. Tell you what, the Red Sox pitchers, poor Sullivan, now Tozawa, they have been ahead of the Blue Jay hitters all night. And the Blue Jays are aggressive hitters, but they hit well and best when they're in those hitter counts.
They tee off. They tee off. They look for their pitches and counts, and they do their homework. They look at the pitcher. They look at to see what they like to throw in certain counts, and then they'll sit on that pitch.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Breaking ball tapped in front of the mound. Tozawa goes to first. Donaldson's retired. 2 down. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Thank you, Jamie. The Mariners 9-11 at the start of play. And they got King Felix on the mound. Remember, Felix Hernandez has a losing record against Texas. It's pretty interesting for Hernandez over his career. He has not fared well against the Rangers. And right now, they have a 2-0 lead. So Cruz and Hanley Ramirez tied atop the American League. 10 home runs. They lead the majors in that department. You see, Bautista is really frustrated. He has a good eye at the plate, and that ball off the plate has been called a strike against him all night.
Every time that he has been up tonight, they have thrown that pitch on the outer half. He thinks it's off the plate, but it's been called a strike. And see, they want to go back out there. That's a fake. That's a decoy right there. Now that's where they want it.
Runner at second base, and just to guard against the possibility of Goins passing location to Bautista, Hannigan set up inside early and then slid to the outside. Bautista, a good rip Another 1-2 count. That's been the theme all night long.
It certainly has. Tons of times they have gotten ahead of these hitters for the Blue Jays. And again, it puts you on the defensive. Right now, you got to expand the strike zone just a little bit. You know that pitcher's going to go with his pitch that he likes to strike you out with, and you got to be on the defensive.
Tazawa strikes out Bautista. Tazawa gives up a leadoff single, but nothing more. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th. The Red Sox have a 4-1 lead. Now it's time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zaun.
Center level 1, you'll receive a free Dooney and Burke cosmetic bag. Available while supplies last. Buck?
Thank you very much, Barry. We have moved to the bottom of the 8th inning here in Boston. And there's a new pitcher into the game for the Blue Jays. Jeff Francis is into the game. Oh, Dickey with a very good outing, but Dickey on the wrong side of a 4-1 score.
Blue Jays just couldn't get him any runs tonight. He leaves being down by 3 runs. Jeff Francis has thrown 2 games for the Blue Jays. The last time Jeff worked was the 24th at Tampa. No decision. That's where he had to come in and throw 3 1/3 innings. Did a heck of a job in that game, keeping it close. He had 6 strikeouts against the Tampa Bay Rays.
David Ortiz leading things off here in the 8th. He shows bunt, pulls the bat back. Ball on the strike.
They going to give in? Nope. Josh Donaldson's going to stay back there. He's giving him the whole left side of the infield.
Pops this one up into shallow right. Travis moving under it makes the catch. Ortiz is the first out of the bottom of the 8th inning. Now it's time for the drive of the game. It's presented by the 2015 Honda CR-V, Motor Trend's 2015 Sport Utility of the Year.
Well, Hanley Ramirez is in one of those home run type of swings. He's been hitting them in bunches. This time, this is a big 2-run home run in the 3rd inning. His 5th home run in his last 5 games. He also has 10 RBIs in his last 5 games. The drive of the night, home run by Hanley Ramirez.
Hanley, a couple of strikeouts to go along with that home run. He is an aggressive hitter. Loves that first pitch. Ramirez knows all about Jeff Francis, who spent a lot of time in the National League. Hanley Ramirez is 0 for 10 against Jeff Francis. Or was that one foul?
You know what, Buck? He's not a wild swinger either. You know, it's a controlled, aggressive swing. He came into this season a career 300 hitter.
Yeah.
And you would look at him and say, wow, well, the way he swings like that, wild, a couple of strikeouts, 300 hitter.
In the opening game of this series, he was right at 300. He was the 10th active player with a 300 average. He has since slipped underneath 300. Francis is ahead 0-2.
You know, it's not a small sample size. He's had over 5,000 plate appearances in the big leagues to go along with that 300 average and a 370 on base percentage.
Jeff Francis pitched in Game 1 of the World Series right here at Fenway Park in 2007, pitching for the Colorado Rockies. Not a great memory for him other than the fact it was the World Series. Boston scored 3 runs in the first inning of him. Ramirez not happy with that. Blue Jays have had to deal with that outside strike all night long. Francis now continues to dominate Hanley Ramirez. Ramirez is 0 for 11 against Francis.
Well, if you pay attention, you can see that Adrian Johnson, the home plate umpire, has been giving both sides that pitch. Jeff Francis obviously have been paying attention down there.
This is the switch hitting third baseman, Pablo Sandoval. Sandoval in last night's game got a base hit off of Aaron Luke that snapped an 0 for 17 batting against left-handed pitchers. Reaches for that one and fouls it up. Jeff Francis with a 1-2 count. Good inning for Jeff Francis. 1-2-3 in the 8th with a couple of strikeouts. The Blue Jays will send Edwin Encarnacion to the mound when we come back. Encarnacion, Pilar, and Sanders against Koji Uehara.
.ca/baseball and get an extended 60-day free trial. Buck?
Barry, Blue Jays are running out of time. We have moved to the 9th. The Red Sox have a 4-1 lead trying to win this series, and it's the closer, Koji Uehara, into the ballgame.
Uehara just keeps rolling right along. He pitched in the first game here in this series. Fastball, splitter, that's what you're going to get. He hasn't walked a batter yet this year. He's had his trouble versus the right-handers at 364. Uehara was talking after the game the other day that he and Ryan Hannigan made a conscious effort of throwing more fastballs, especially early in the count, and had a good outing.
He threw more fastballs, but he still only threw 4. But he has that mindset that he wants to throw a few more fastballs. The first pitch splitting right at the bottom of the zone. Blue Jays managed just 3 hits tonight. Encarnacion has one of those 3 hits. There's a little flare down the right field line in the 7th.
Another breaking ball. He had a 1-2-3 inning when he came in the other day with a couple of strikeouts and ended up winning that game. Keeps rolling right along.
Hanley Ramirez is standing in left field thinking that was a strike on me.
Just last half inning. You called that one a strike.
Out in front of that off-speed pitch and hits it into the second deck. Encarnacion is 3 for 7 against Uehara. Obviously, those at-bats all come in the 9th inning. Another strikeout. 1 down. Now it's the time for a preview of what's coming up next on Sportsnet Central. Here's Ken Reed, Milwaukee Osmak. Thank you very much, Ivanka, and it's an interesting highlight, I'm sure. Our pal Gary Thorne calling that unique game with no fans in the stands. Kevin Pillar pops it straight back behind home, and that's going to be on the screen out of play. Saw Russell Martin, who has grabbed the bat. Appears to be going to bat for Michael Saunders.
Yeah. Looks like John Gibbons is loading up his right-handers. Danny Valencia is in the hole right behind Russell Martin. Michael Saunders 0 for 7 in his career versus Uehara, and we told you about the righties giving Uehara a little bit more trouble this year than the left-handers.
Dalton Pompey talking with Michael Saunders probably about Uehara. There you see Valencia. Danny's 2 for 3 against Uehara. Too far outside that time.
More fastballs. He's lost a little bit on that fastball. It's now 87, 88 miles an hour. So he might be afraid to use it.
Yeah, I think that's probably it. And he hasn't gotten that strength. Again, we talked about this in last night's game. John Farrell and the pitching coach Juan Nieves have talked about some of their pitchers not really up to speed just yet. My question is, why don't you get them up to speed in spring training? And it's universal. I mean, everybody does it. The pitchers will go maybe 6 innings, or sometimes they'll go what they call 7-ups, where guys will get up and down 7 times as starters. Full count, 1 out. Russell Martin anxious to hit. Pillar spoils a pretty good pitch.
Can't afford to walk anybody, so he's challenging him there. 87 with that fastball. Uehara has had some pretty decent seasons here. 26 saves last year for Boston.
Well, another great pitch down and away. Another strikeout. 9 strikeouts for the Red Sox tonight.
Put that one in a good spot. Just off the plate.
Russell Martin pinch hitting for Michael Saunders. Right-handers faring much better against Uehara than lefties, and he went after that first pitch.
Yeah, we showed the numbers, 364 as opposed to 120. The left-hander, so load up with the right-handers.
The breaking ball missed inside. Blue Jays down to their final strike, and wouldn't you know it, it's a 1-2 count.
That has been the theme tonight, hasn't it? Pitchers on 1-1 counts. They've been making pitches and putting the hitters in the hole. This is where he gets dangerous. You got to figure that splitter's coming sometime.
Went with the fastball, his best one in 2 nights, 88. Uehara is 3 for 4 in save opportunities. Strike 3 call. Martin can't believe it. Russell Martin called out on strikes. That ends the ball game, and Boston wins the series. How about Uehara striking out the side in the ninth?
Using a little bit more fastballs, and then he went to the old bread and butter right there, the splitter, to finish it off. Blue Jays needed a big pitched game from Ari Dickey. They got it. Unfortunately, Rick Porcello was a little bit better. Blue Jays could only muster 3 hits.